Right in the center, yeah.
Do you believe in eugenics?
Eugenics is a word that was coined, actually, I think by Francis Galton, who was the nephew of Charles Darwin. And it generally is understood as describing the process of using genetics to improve our own species. And the answer to that is no, I don't. Because first of all, I think it's naive to believe that we can look at you or me or Dennis or anybody else and say, you know, you're not worth reproducing, we don't like your genes. We're going to let you have a lot of children, or we're going to try to do this sort of thing. For two reasons. One is it's inhumane. It doesn't respect the individual dignity that we all have as human beings. And secondly, it overstates dramatically the extent of scientific knowledge. We don't know that much about human genetics that we can actually say how we can breed or make or otherwise manipulate a better human being. Now, having said that I don't believe in eugenics, because that's the way it's usually understood, I do believe that modern genetics and genomics give individuals the information that they need to make decisions about their own reproductive future. And I'll give you a perfect example of a eugenics-like program that I think has worked extremely well. There is a serious inherited genetic disorder in this country among Jewish people of a certain ancestry called Tay-Sachs disease. It's a recessive disorder. It's extremely rare. If a baby is born who carries 2 copies of Tay-Sachs, what happens is their nervous system breaks down. It breaks down dramatically between the 2nd and 3rd year of life. They usually die before they're old enough to go to kindergarten. It's very difficult for the family. It's extremely traumatic. So what has been operating within the Jewish community for quite a few years has been a program to encourage people who are about to get married to voluntarily get tested to see if they carry 1 copy of this gene. Because if they are then about to marry somebody who carries another copy of it, geneticists can tell them they have a 1 in 4 chance of producing a child with Tay-Sachs. Now they may take that information and decide they're gonna try anyway. Or they may take that information and decide, tell you what, let's adopt children, or let's otherwise undergo reproductive interventions that will ensure that we don't bring a child into the world with this horrible disease. But that kind of decision making, I would say, is not eugenics. That kind of decision making is basically giving people the information that they need to make informed decisions about their own lives, and I think that's a good thing. Okay, trying to move things around. Sir?
When do you think that there's going to be evidence of abiogenesis?
Oh, when do I think there's going to be evidence of abiogenesis? Abiogenesis is a term means life coming from inanimate matter. Well, depends what you mean by that. Some people would say that abiogenesis took place about 10 years ago. And it was 10 years ago, a little more than 10 years ago, I think, when scientists took chemicals off the shelf, put them into DNA synthesizers, synthesized the DNA molecule of a virus, and then were able to reconstruct a virus particle. So if you consider viruses to be living, that's abiogenesis. A very well-known scientist, Craig Ventnor, who worked on the Human Genome Project, is now trying to do exactly the same thing with a real cell, not a virus, a bacterium, trying to construct a minimal organism. Knowing this guy, within a few years, he's probably going to succeed. So that sort of ability to take non-living chemicals and put them and make them come alive by mimicking the living cell, I think that's pretty close. The larger question that I think you're asking is how soon is it going to be that we will have an answer to the riddle of how the first living cell originated from non-living chemicals on this planet. I'm not optimistic that it's going to happen anytime soon. And the reason for that is it happened a long time ago and it didn't leave much evidence. But there are a number of researchers who have put together pieces of the puzzle. And I'm certainly confident that that's exactly how it took place. Jack Szostak at Harvard has done some absolutely brilliant work that involves self-replicating RNA molecules and a number of simulations of conditions on the primitive Earth. So I certainly think that it happened that way. But in terms of achieving a total understanding, I think we're a couple of decades away from really understanding how life originated on this Earth. Good question. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for the opportunity.